So, last time on D&D, on Legendary Action, the party journeyed
still there.
as a part of a supply caravan across the western lands of the Bravashan Empire on their continuing journey towards Midheim in search of Bridget, a young girl destined to become a forge master of Dragon's Keep. They spent that time practicing their crafts, learning about one another's history before crossing the borders into the ancient and dark lands covered by ruins, wild forests where evil lurks around every bend. At the end of this caravan's journey, you arrived at a small town under siege by undead horde commanded by a massive werewolf. You successfully defended the town, saving the town's people, slaying the werewolf, and becoming bestest of friends.
Maybe not.
But in that siege, you were also joined by an orc warrior named Konar, who was almost really helpful. He was helpful in the battle. He was pretty helpful with information exposition, except for the name of the town. And the fact that there were undead hiding in the water and stuff, because he probably should have told you all about that.
And he did not tell the loudest member of the party to be quiet.
Yeah, that's true. Sure. You know, John.
Totally did.
It's okay, man.
I actually did the edit of the video. He totally did.
Well, you're wrong.
So,
He was being too loud. He didn't hear it.
Yeah, where did we last? Because it's been 2 weeks, right? Where were we last? Where did we last leave off? Exactly.
The werewolf has just been slain, and there are still
Right.
there are still some undead around. So
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna see what they do now that the person that was commanding them is not here anymore.
Right, Konar and Locke are over closer to the barricade.
Yep.
Trin is up on the roof.
He's up on the roof.
Yeah. I'm on the landing with
A dead body.
with Headless Werewolf.
And then
I'm
Godric.
Yeah, we're like across the street from the opening of the tavern.
Yeah.
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 So the basically left of the tavern, taking care of the things that are calling over, trying to prevent them from getting in.
All right. I need absolute silence while I get into character.
Are you in yet?
that's what she said.
That joke was hilarious.
You're welcome.
Yo, what?
Do you want some water for that one?
Wait, why did she say that?
We'll talk about it later, man.
Now I want to know.
Listen. This isn't the appropriate place to have the birds and bees discussion. We'll talk about it later, man.
What does it have to do with? I was talking about him and his character.
I know it sounds all confusing and metaphorically it's a mess, but whatever. People use it.
It's a long distance.
Yep, metaphors.
6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. What?
6 in one hand, a baker's dozen in the other.
Oh, that's the wrong thing.
Baker's dozens are bigger. That's Texas. They just make them
But I
bigger.
don't have a die 13.
You don't have a D13?
He's asking you really.
What a noob. This guy doesn't have a
Well,
D13.
all D12s are actually D13s. They just took the 13 off because it's unlucky.
That's my lucky number, though.
Just like
That
elevators
explains
in
a lot.
casinos. There's no floor 13.
I think you
Friday
conflated
thir-
luck
Fri-
and unluck.
No. Friday the it's the biggest jackpot I've ever won. On Friday the 13th.
I used to be a gambler.
It's like $5.
Is that a
No.
healthy relationship with risking money in games of chance?
Yeah, but it's the one that saved my life. Saved my life, and I was able to pay rent and get groceries, so I call it a win.
So we're supposed to get deep into like the nitty gritty of our characters' backstories.
Yeah, not
Not
Mike's
mine.
On the
backstory.
show.
Yeah, not my expense.
Oh yeah.
So,
We're not supposed to
Trin,
care about each other. Just
up on the roof, looking down at the dismembered corpse of the werewolf. You know, your magical, like, telekinetic connection just being severed immediately by the swift strike from the glaive of Ulthion as its head kind of rolls off and slams onto the ground. You kind of just stare, probably, like, baffled by what just happened. But you don't even have much of a moment to start considering what happens because you all hear an exceptionally loud and very nearby howl.
What?
And then there's a crash and an explosion of tiles and roof boards beneath your feet as you're thrown forward onto the ground, and coming up from inside the inn is the large form of another werewolf. As it jumps out over the top, landing on the landing, Ulthion immediately turns to start bringing his glaive about, but the werewolf looks at the decapitated head of the one before it and rushes at you, Ulthion, slamming into you, knocking you over the balcony. You tip down and tumble to the ground below. Trin, you roll over and you see the werewolf grab the head in its paws, its front claws. It grabs it, looks around snarling, and jumps off the opposite side. And the last you all hear of it is its panting and its footsteps fading into the darkness. As it disappears into the forest surrounding the town, the horde of undead begin to crumble and fall apart as their bodies begin to immediately decay, rotting and dropping in place. For the meantime, they seem defeated. Katarina, you can see the actual dispersion of necromantic black magic dissipating from their bones and their bodies, and see the wisps of life that were holding these undead together kind of just dissipate and fade off back into the weave.
Well, since I was down on the ground, I'm going to go over to where Ulthion fell, check on him, help him up.
Ow.
What?
We have to be after it immediately.
Are you fit for the fight? It seems like there was a lot going on.
I'll be okay. And I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay.
You're
Trin, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go over to the edge and try and look out and see if I can see where the werewolf went, where it's running off to.
Okay, make a perception check.
I will proceed with my goblin eyes, with my skills.
We have tablets right here, bro.
I have skills. I shouldn't use that one. That's my
they're
rogue
graciously
man.
provided by Legendary Action for this event, sir.
Oh well, too bad because I rolled a 12 or 11. I rolled an 11.
Good job, Mike.
You don't see it.
The difference is
It
that
moves.
I
It
got
moves
the
too
right-
quick, far too quick into a not at all lit part of town. You see it kind of jumping through the shadows, and you lose sight of it over the side of the palisades on the opposite side of town.
But I got kind of the general direction.
They seem to be moving in like a northwesternish, northeasternish kind of direction.
But I kind of take that in, and I take the other sides, and I realize I've dropped my guitar, and I go and I try and I start searching through the crap on that balcony to look for my guitar.
While you're all gathering your thoughts, you hear a shrill scream come from inside the inn, and the sounds of panic kind of on the inside of the building as well.
Well, since I'm already on the back side, I'm already on the back side because the door was moving last time. Are these like panic screams of danger? Like, do I feel like someone's in danger right now with like how loud those screeches? Yeah, if I jump through the fucking window.
How many panic screams are not about?
The window is definitely not Godric.
Huh?
The window is definitely not Godric size. I just want to point that out.
The fuck?
Gravity.
It's Matt's fault.
It was my fault.
Then never mind. I'm gonna run around to the front door.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll run into the front door too because I'm around there.
So, what are you doing, Connor?
I'm gonna keep
Connor.
watch outside the door, but get close so I can hear and look in.
So you're just basically gonna maintain guard?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Locke, you're
I'm
over
with
there with
Ulthion.
Ulthion, right?
So as I'm helping you to your feet, you get a better look at my robes are kind of shredded up. I got some scratches on the metal body underneath.
Are you all right?
I got into a fight. It wasn't perfect, but
We all got into a fight.
right. But
Do you need assistance? I can see if my divine magic works on one of your kind.
it has in the past. Yes.
I have faith it'll work this time too. And I'll hit you with a second level Cure Wounds.
Thank you.
That's 19 hit points.
Ooh, I feel so much better.
Alright. So, let's see, we'll go in this order. So, Katarina, As you're kind of moving towards the building, trying to get inside,
Mhm.
your hound talks to you. And he's kind of just appears out of the shadow again, as you hadn't actually fully summoned him in the battle, but he was still slightly present on the plane for a moment. He kind of pops back out of the shadows, just kind of forming out of the dark space where the light isn't touching the side of the building, and just kind of comes out with that purplish flame and those burning ember eyes, kind of just walking out one paw after another. It seems that you defeated the pawn of Hecate's follower.
I was much more worried about the well-being of the town.
It's one and the same, isn't it? Hecate tests you. You pass, and that also saves the people. And it kind of just sniffs the air and looks around, looks at the ground, goes over to one of the piles of bones, the undead, and just kind of taps it with its paw.
You were saying all this was a test for me?
Who else would it be a test for? I told you her follower was here.
Well, I prefer if her tests in the future didn't cost the lives of innocents.
It is as a god wills it. Either way, you have someone far more important to talk to than me. And he kind of turns and looks, and as you follow, you see the shape of a cloaked and hooded figure cross ahead of you, heading towards an alleyway between the buildings. And you catch only a glimpse of it. And the hound kind of sits, just plops on its rear paws. Well, don't keep her waiting.
At this point, do I see Godric run around to...
Yeah, he comes around the building. Everybody's kind of... You see Locke lift up Ultion to his feet in an exchange of words, and Ultion heals himself and heals Locke. You can hear Trin, up above you on the battlement running around, and Connor just kind of relaxes and throws his shoulder up against the wall and, rests his pole arm.
I think I saw something. Can you check the tavern?
Yes, I got this.
Okay, I'll run off in that direction.
Nice. So excited.
I'm glad one of us is.
Someone should be.
I'm so nervous.
Alright.
You're great.
Thanks.
Alright, so as you kind of hurry forward, one foot after another, you kind of turn and look down this alleyway, and you see really nothing but pitch black, and the light, just the bare illumination of someone carrying a torch on the other end of the alley, all the way around the back side of the inn. And there, you see a figure kind of step from the right and into view, far enough away that you can't see any defining features, but they seem to be holding some sort of staff with a head ornament that you're not familiar with. You've never seen it before. But it's definitely some sort of old or ancient emblem of some sort. But you can't see enough of it to really define exactly what it is. So, everyone but Tara can leave.
What?
It's been a while.
Okay.
Oh!
Hey, last time this happened, someone died.
I've never had to do this, so. Please don't kill me, I just got here. You're most likely.
It's time to spin the wheel.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm rooting for you.
No cheating.
Okay, I'll make sure you know.
So, as you're standing there, you kind of step into the alley just a little bit to try to close that distance between you and see if you can't figure out if there's an identity or something that you can see. And then you hear a voice. And it's the voice of a woman. It doesn't sound cruel or shrewd or malevolent. but definitely sounds maybe even weak or tired to a degree. Whoop, I accidentally skipped down. All right, so the voice just kind of comes down the alleyway, the little bit of wind kind of carrying it through the air. Katerina, Hecate has taken an interest in you, and you, with the defeating of my minions on her behalf, I hope you understand that the interest is nothing but a positive. She means you no ill will.
It wasn't even me that defeated your minion.
No, don't downplay the significance of the role you played. You slew many of my minions. There was no one in particular that must have been defeated in order for this to be a victory on your part.
And who are you then?
I am just a humble servant of Hecate, and I have been so for many years.
So why me? Why is she testing me like this?
Well, I mean, the answer should be obvious to you. See, Hecate can see the pure, dark magic flowing through your body. She can see every bit of how it infuses every part of you. Every inch of your body has the potential of power through dark magic. She simply wants you to use it. Seeing how it was stolen from her anyways.
Stolen how? I don't understand.
Oh, there's no denying or playing around what you already know deep inside, is there? You and I and Hecate are all aware. If you think hard enough, you know the answer. You know where your powers came from and how you attained them. You were not born with this magic.
I've had this magic since I can remember.
Yeah, that's the key though, isn't it? As far as you can remember.
How could I have stolen something when I was so young?
You didn't steal anything.
Who did?
Well, your father did.
That can't be right.
Why wouldn't it be?
He told me I was born like this.
Of course he would. Why wouldn't he tell you that? It keeps you calm. It keeps you in his good graces. But we both know the truth of the matter is that he stole you from your birth parents. And you are simply the result of an experiment of years of deep, concentrated research and effort to draw on the domains of the Shadowfell and the power of dark magic to create a being of pure magic.
I don't understand why you're lying to me like this.
I'm not. How would I lie to you? I'm here on behalf of a goddess who knows all and sees all.
Knowing all doesn't mean that you're always telling the truth.
I have no reason to lie. Why would you assume Hecate has a reason to lie?
Because I know that my father is my birth father. My mother died when I was very young.
All memories fed into you to keep you happy and complacent at home.
Fine, if he's not my father, then who is? Where are these birth parents?
It doesn't matter. They were killed.
It's easy for you to say it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. It doesn't define who you've become and who you are now. They're in the past, and they're definitely well beneath the achievements that you're capable of accomplishing with Hecate's blessings and her grace, access to her power, her domain.
What if I don't want it?
We're beyond that. There's no getting rid of it. As I said, the music is infused in your body. It flows through every part of you. You are tuning fork for dark magic. It flows and concentrates on you. Surely you've felt since arriving in this dark domain, these lands cursed by years of necromancy and black magic, the dead being raised and evil being done. Surely you've felt a sensation of growing power.
I guess.
Well, you've never cast a spell like that before. You've cast spells with ice and cold before and concentrated. But you froze an entire street and destroyed dozens of my minions. That wasn't a happy accident.
Well, if what you're saying is true and my powers were stolen from your goddess, could she not just take them back?
No. They're not hers to control and give. She simply watches and mediates the dark weave and the corrupted sides of magic, as she has done since the falling of the god, the Formless One.
So then what does she want?
She simply wants you to see the truth in your potential and unlock that potential. She believes, and I believe rightfully so, that you have the ability to become one of the most powerful sorceresses in all of Terrowyn.
And this dark magic that I have, I can still use it for good reasons, right?
Of course. It is simply just magic. Shouldn't listen to the propaganda of those who cast arcane magic through the goddess Mitria. Dark magic is simply a shortcut to greater knowledge and power than through the like magic of her. But remember, Hecate, unlike Mitria, doesn't punish those who seek more knowledge and power for themselves. Mitria has a habit of being a terribly, terribly vengeful goddess on those she believes are not worthy of her knowledge. Hecate, there are no unturned stones. You can ask of her, her acolytes and worshippers, and those who use her magic, and they will give it willingly. For that is one of her mandates.
And what if I had failed this test that she gave me, then what?
Then you and your friends would be dead, and she would be moving on with her life, ever living and ever knowing. I will say that Hecate is somewhat of a very prideful goddess. She can be spiteful, she can be wrathful, but as long as you do and take from the power and use it to better yourself, nothing makes her happier than to see those individuals using the gifts that she mediates through the weave.
And that's all she wants from me, is just for me to use the power I have. There's no other motive for her to want me to be stronger.
Not that I'm aware of. She simply wants to see you embrace what you are, and she believes that you're holding yourself back. When you reached out, in hell, using your powers, you tapped into something and she became aware. And in those moments, the connection between you and the Dark Weave, she saw what you were capable of. She wants you to be a representative, someone powerful, someone that should be feared and loved for what they are capable of. And all through her. You know, with power like yours, you could do almost anything. But potential is unlimited. You could found your own kingdom with the kind of magic that you have potential to use. You could rule lands, create your own acolytes and worshippers and followers. You may be even powerful enough to supplant a dark domain in the Shadowfell. Maybe even the very one your supposed father is hiding inside of. If she has a fight with anybody, it's with him, not with you.
Why is he hiding?
Because Hecate doesn't have access to the Shadowfell. She can't go there herself. That domain simply falls within the Veiled Queen's roles. Her domain. And the other Dark Lords that call it home. Users, people who have taken magic or taken gifts from the Dark Weave and attempting to evade and hide from her, often run to the Shadowfell for protection. For the Veiled Queen seems to not truly manage her domains, and it runs rampant with necrotic and dark magic.
Well, I only know that my father is in the Shadowfell because of her. Does she want me to find him there?
Don't you want to find him?
Of course.
Find the truth of this matter now? He murdered your family. Your real family is gone because of him, and he took you away when you were just a babe, and then subjected you to hours and days and months of years of painful torture as he fused the Shadowfell and the dark magic that powers it into your body, turning you into something that only barely qualifies as a mortal human.
I still can't say that I believe you. But is Hecate going to have any demands for me when I do find him? Am I just a pawn for her to get to him?
Oh, please. You're not some devil's warlock that signed her soul away. She has no direct control over you. And even if she could or wanted to interfere, she has more important things to deal with. And don't forget, her promises to rule her domain and the tablets prevent her from direct intervention on the mortal plane. Hence, why I am here. Figure kind of shifts in the alley, kind of starts walking towards you.
I'll stay, but
Simply embrace the gift and the power. Stop denying its existence. Feel it. Just allow yourself to use your emotions to cast the spells you already know you can. Open up your mind to the possibility that you have been given an amazing opportunity that others like myself will never have. I've been practicing necromancy and black magic arts since I was a small child. And yet, based on what I see, when I see you pull at the weave, I will never compare in direct power to you. You can accomplish so much more than many of us can, or ever could. Covens of witches would murder countless innocents to get just a drop of the kind of power and raw potential I see within you, that the goddess sees within you.
I can't say you're doing a wonderful job of convincing me that it's a good thing that I have it.
Well, what choice do you have? You do have it.
Can you help me get to the Shadowfell?
If that's ultimately where your destination lies, yes, I can.
I have to talk to my father, Malark. I need to talk to him face to face.
When you do, when you decide for yourself what to do and how to do it, when you get the answers that you seek, Hecate will be waiting for you. You must just simply open your entire being to the weave and allow the dark magic to just flow through your body freely. You're strong of willpower and mind, intelligent and cunning. You have nothing to worry about from, let's say, the dangers of wielding dark magic from those lesser than us.
Well, as long as I still get to use them for helping this town, for helping my new family, it can't be too bad.
As I said, there's no contract here. I'm not a petty devil, and neither is the goddess. She simply wants to see those who have power use it. Use it for their personal gain. Use it to make themselves better, their friends better. Whatever they desire, make it better. But do so because you can, because magic flows through you. I know that her demeanor is strange, that she's unknown, that people call her evil or misguided or dangerous. Pure propaganda from those who would rather see her dethroned or her domains taken away from her. Jealous of her own accomplishments. Don't listen to the like-minded wizards of those in your party who tell you that this is dangerous. What would they know?
Maybe I can prove to them that it's not.
We are all individuals capable of making choice. The dark powers that flood this land, that have corrupted it and made it what it is, those were the decisions of individuals who were in charge of these lands. The magic and gifts that they had access to did not have to be utilized to cause the kind of damage that they did. It is still just arcane magic.
Well, Malark told me that I was special and that I have these powers for a reason. Maybe this is it. Maybe I can show everybody that it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
It most certainly doesn't. So she finally goes the length of the alley and comes up to you. And still mostly cloaked in shadow, you do see a strange emblem of a skull with wings on the top and some sort of heraldry attached to it. The staff is rather large, almost like a standard versus just a staff with an emblem of any kind. The face underneath seems young, but also old at the same time, and weathered, tired. But you see a hand kind of reach underneath the cloak, and she pulls out an object. And the object seems to be like a glass orb of swirling dark magic. Even just being where you are, you can kind of sense that this is something formidable. There's something enticing in a way that you've never felt before, but also something saying that this is exceptionally dangerous. There's you want to grab it and you want to hold on to it, but you also kind of want to keep away from it and keep your distance from this object. And so she takes this spherical glass orb swirling with dark, like purplish magic and green magic. It kind of like flickers and moves between those two colors. And she kind of reaches just in front of her to put it in front of you at like eye level. Take it. A gift from the goddess of magic. For you. Specifically chosen for you. Her voice kind of cracks and almost sounds very old for a moment as she kind of reaches forward.
Well, if I'm as strong as she thinks I am, I'll reach out and grab it.
Okay. So, you grab it, and there's an electrical surge of power that kind of runs through your body, from your fingertips to your arms, all the way up to your mind. And there isn't any immediate changes. Nothing manifests, nothing changes about you to a degree, but you suddenly feel very focused and powerful in the clarity of your thinking. Everything seems to make a little bit more sense than it used to, and there's a focused drive behind you now. You feel complete with direction upon touching the orb.
I will take a cloth or whatever I have in my bag and kind of wrap it up and put it in my bag.
So you take it and you're putting it in your satchel, your travel bag or whatever, right? Going and putting it down there. Okay. Yeah. So when you look up, the figure's still standing there, but she doesn't look young anymore. She looks old and weathered, and there's a strange aura of green and bluish, like a ghostly figure that is trying to tear away from this person. And you see, in that strange ethereal projection, the face of a once very beautiful young woman, much like yourself. And it's trying to say something to you. But then the figure just wipes its hand over its face and it just dissipates and kind of just in a wisp of smoke. Now, I will go back to my duties, fulfill my bidding on her behalf. I have other business in the realm of Midheim. Take care in unlocking the power of this artifact. It will do well by you, but you are not yet 100% ready to unwield its complete power. Do so cautiously and with time study it, and it will give you great arcane knowledge and understanding of dark magic. Also, if you must, you may attempt to use it to contact other dark worshippers in hiding, much like myself, and we may or may not answer the call.
And when the time comes, will she help me go to the Shadowfell?
The information that you seek is in the orb. I will give you some advice. Shadowfell crossings are strongest at points of complete and total shadow, places that are so dark that most mortals fear or avoid them. Such a crossing does exist in the Lacroix Castle. Others you must seek out yourself. You can find them. You are made of the substance of what makes up the Shadowfell, powered by dark magic. If you concentrate hard enough, you can find your way through the shadows to the Shadowfell. But I cannot guarantee that you can do it with any of your other companions. It may just have to be you and you alone who meet your father. Just know that I didn't lie about a single thing I said today. You are not who your adoptive father said is, or should I more accurately refer to him as your kidnapper, as your tormentor. Keep your friends close. Whether or not they become pawns in some greater scheme of power that you someday rise to, or go with you, they will be there.
Well, my only goal is to help them. If this can make me strong enough to help them save countless lives, I'll try to do what you say.
If you stop Takesis's rise to power once again, people will always remember your name.
I don't care about the recognition. But I promise that I will use every ounce of my being that I can muster to keep her resurrection from happening.
It's a fine enough goal. But ultimately, it still serves all the purpose of making you the most powerful sorceress on Terrowyn, which you can be. She kind of turns, starts walking away up the alley, and then as the figure kind of gets further away, it turns suddenly and walks into the darkness, and then you lose sight of it.
As soon as I can't see her anymore, I'm going to stand with my back against one of the walls of the alley and just kind of slide down till I'm sitting. And I'm just gonna hang out there for a couple minutes and catch my breath before I go see everybody else.
Yeah, so your hound walks into the alley. What did the follower of Hecate say?
She said that I'm very special for the powers that I have. And that I can do great things with them. And I'll pull the orb back out of my bag
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of stare at it. Just kind of move it around in my hands. See if I see anything or feel anything.
At the moment, you don't really see anything in there or feel anything. But the magic on the inside just kind of swirls and moves and seems to almost like follow the points of your fingertips and like react to them. And then as you like move your fingers or remove it, it kind of just recedes and goes back into the middle and just continues to stretch out. But aside from that, it doesn't seem to be doing anything else.
I'll turn to my hound. I don't suppose you know how this works, do you?
I've seen these before.
Do you know what it's called?
I don't know the actual name of them.
What would you call it?
I think I heard someone refer to them once as orbs of seeing. They can teach you about yourself, others, the world. Sometimes they're filled with arcane knowledge trapped within. But they're on objects so ancient and so long forgotten that nobody knows their true name anymore.
Well, that sounds like exactly what I need right now.
So, if we're going to be crossing into the Shadowfell, And we're heading that direction anyways. What do we do about the obstacles in the way?
I'm sure I'll be able to get through them just fine.
Kind of pauses, scratches his head, just standing there. I have no doubt there. I've been on your side since the beginning. You summoned me. I am your willful servant.
And you'll be with me into the Shadowfell?
Of course.
Good.
Either way, you should rejoin the others soon, or they might grow suspicious of you being alone for so long, or worried. There are dangerous things in the town. But I don't sense Hecate's servant anymore. So if she's truly to be believed, whatever she told you, at least she's gone.
I guess we'll find out in time if everything she says is true. Hopefully I'm ready to know by then.
You don't give yourself enough credit. You're already one of the most powerful users of magic in the entire group. Even the wizard would struggle to keep up with your raw, inherent skills. The fact that they belittle you at times and call you child is unnecessary. But either way, you will grow into your own.
I expect I'll be able to show them that I can hold my own soon enough.
Very soon, more than likely. Either way, I will return. Call me if you need me. And just, like smoke, just whisks away again, returning back to the plane from which you summoned him.
I will take a couple more deep breaths, put the orb back in my bag, and head back out to meet everybody.
So as you reach into your bag and you put the orb in there, you get a sudden bit of inspiration and clarity. And you remember a page in the spell book that you carry that used to kind of evade you and you thought was maybe beyond your ability to fully understand. But you have a moment in which there's something about it that you understand just a little bit differently than before.
I'll run my hand over it, it's hanging on my side.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this will need another read tonight. And I'll head back out there.
Okay. All right. So as you come out of the alley and kind of look around, you only see Connor standing there. He kind of looks over at you, just nods, and then kind of just goes back to messing with his pole axe or his pole arm. Ulthion and Locke are still having like a minor conversation. They seem not to have really done very much in the meantime, and nobody seems to have noticed that you were missing for any amount of time. You can go let them know they can come back. So,
It was broken.
Godric was headed inside.
Yeah, Godric. Now that you're inside,
Focus. Bring it back.
focus, but not too hard.
Shit, you go away.
Count to three. Count to three.
Justin, it's
I
just
can't count that high.
it's your face. You know?
Use your fingers.
I wish I only got 3.
Now come inside.
I'm waiting on you.
I burst through the door.
Like burst through the door, like
I
take
heard
the
screaming.
hinges off.
I throw the doors. What's going on?
Some of the people are like, I don't know. It's someone was yelling upstairs.
Yeah. I'm gonna run upstairs. Sword out. Currently still on fire.
All right, so you reach the top of the stairs, and kind of looking down the room, you see what looks like a damaged door has been like broken open, and there's fragments of it like in the hallway, maybe 10 feet or so away from you. It looks like a chair was thrown away, and it looks like blood stains or something on the floor, like or a puddle.
I'll go up and investigate and see what the blood leads to.
Yeah, so you run up to the door and you look inside the room, and in the room you see like the torn up, leftover remains of what looks like an old man, and then a young woman who seems to be completely completely scarred. Her face has been slashed by claws, and it's like absolutely deformed at this point. And there's just blood all over the room, and you can see the hole in the roof where something extraordinarily large like leapt through it.
Well, no, walk up to the young girl.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all right? Can you speak?
So she's basically just sobbing and kind of just like weeping out loud. And she tries to make a noise, but you can see that the claw that raked her face came down through and kind of punctured through the face and down underneath.
I'm going to pull out a potion of healing.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your face. And I'm going to gently put my hand behind her head and kind of sprinkle some of the health potion like on the wounds a little bit to start the healing, and then pour it down her throat.
Okay.
As you're going to need to drink this.
Okay. Yeah, so she struggles at first, and it does start healing. You can see that there's going to be scarring left there. But at the same time, while you're kind of maneuvering her face and neck, you see that she has taken an exceptionally large bite and chunk off of her shoulder, where the flesh has just been torn away, and you can see like the bone underneath has been exposed to the collarbone.
Do I'd like to roll a history check to see what Godric knows about werewolves and their bites specifically.
Doesn't everybody?
Yes.
Okay, sure. He is from a place that has notorious legendary werewolf, so
11.
11?
Uh-huh.
I mean, you know the same thing everybody else does. It's a curse. It's passed on by bite or scratch. There's more or less nothing shy of god level magic that can really just get rid of it.
What is your name? If she can speak now, if it's healed. I'll wait to see if she's healed enough to speak before I ask that if she can.
Okay. So as the potion starts to take effect, she kind of speaks up in a almost like whimpering sort of voice from the pain. As using a healing potion when you're healing these kinds of wounds doesn't necessarily feel like hugs and puppies.
Mm-hmm.
It's often quite painful to repair this kind of actual structural damage through magic like this. My name's Cormira.
Cormira. I have bad news. That bite, you will turn into a werewolf.
So she kind of just looks up at you, looks around for a moment, and then she like kind of crawls over to you, and she kind of uses you as leverage, and then you feel like a tug, and as you're trying to figure out what she's doing, you feel she says, I won't end up being murdered, and you feel very distinctly the sharpness of one of your hand axes just straight into your side as she just shoves it in.
I'm gonna grip her
And
tighter.
you a d6 worth of damage. So 4.
Oh.
Do it.
I'm sorry, but no matter what you do, this will happen.
And she just goes to attack you again.
And I'll grab her arm.
Hmm?
Do you have any family you want me to say goodbye to? Any messages before I make it easier on you?
I'm not dying here, you are. And she just goes to boom, she swings again and fucking hits you with
Yeah.
an axe.
I let it hit again as
She does another 4 damage.
Oh my!
as
As it just cracks into your chest.
8 damage. That would have killed Locke.
as I reach up. as I reach up and do I actually hang on? I don't even know if I fucking do. Do I have one?
My weak wizard buddy.
Yeah, I'll just reach up and I'm sorry, may you find peace with your god as I grab her head and attempt to snap it.
Okay.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's easy enough.
Yeah.
Trivial for somebody your size, even. Just boom, there's a 6 snap and her head twists, the life leaves her eyes and the body drops to the ground.
And I'm gonna
But what about the potion?
reach down and pick up her body.
Hmm.
I'm gonna look over at the old man appears to be in pieces, correct?
From what you can tell, most of his entrails and organs have been pulled out of him. His head was decapitated, and most of him is on the wall to the door and kind of stringing down.
So he's probably dead then.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up her body and begin walking downstairs.
Okay.
So
as you turn, you see someone standing right there in the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the person that you talked to had followed you upstairs, and they came down the hall when they didn't hear anything from you. And he's just this young man, he's like probably 15 years old, is completely in shock. And as soon as he makes eye contact with you, he bolts and starts running down the hallway.
Yeah, I'm gonna calmly walk down the stairs.
Okay. Yeah. You reach the bottom of the stairs, and people are panicked. And he's down there screaming that he just watched you murder Cormira.
Boy! Shut your mouth if you do not know what you're speaking!
And he just goes and hides, but you can see that everybody else has grabbed makeshift weapons, and people are like standing there completely in shock.
I'm gonna ignore them and walk over to a counter or a table and gently lay her body down.
Uh-huh.
Since it has already been said, I simply stopped what was going to happen. She was bitten by a wolf, a werewolf. She was going to turn.
They look around, and they're like, you didn't have to murder her. Why'd you kill her?
To stop this spread. She would infect others. She would change.
No, she wouldn't. What are you talking about?
What stories do you know?
I know the stories that we've been living with this curse for thousands of years. All she required was a priest and angel's grace to reverse the lycanthropy. We could have fixed it. Outsiders like you don't belong here. You don't understand our ways. Parathor protects, and he would have saved her. All we needed was to get her somewhere where they could perform the rite.
Where?
What you did was murder. You killed her. And everybody starts to kind of chime in. They're like, you killed her.
Murder!
If you think I'm a murderer, then why would I just attempt to save this town?
I don't know. Would you want us to discuss the motives of what? Maybe you're not used to it. Maybe you're under a spell or black magic. Maybe somebody actually points and he goes, they have spellcasters that came here with them. And the little boy's like, I saw the young girl. She's cast some spell outside in the street.
Are we about to have a witch hunt in this bitch?
You are panicking because you are weak.
You're panicking because you just murdered somebody.
What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Shut up. Where I am from, there's nothing that stops this.
Well, where you're from, they're barbarians like you are, and you wouldn't understand. Some pagan like you in our lands. It would be, and he kind of looks around the room, raises his hands. It would be like, it would be divine justice on Parathor's behalf if we killed him, right? Like, he should be banished from our lands at least. And they all kind of just, yeah, he's a pagan. What does he know? Some barbarian from the far Stormlands.
Then good luck. I will leave your town. And when the undead come back, maybe then you will play to Parathor. Maybe then you'll wish that I was here to help you.
And he kind of stands up, shaking. He's like, I might not be able to do anything about it, but remember, and you must have already forgotten, there's an Inquisitor nearby. Clara will track you down and she will make this right. You murdered one of our people. We could have fixed her. You live with that. And then Parathor's justice will find you somewhere down the road.
Your God's justice will ignore me. No other god will pass judgment upon me.
So, while this is happening and he's inside, Trin, what are you doing?
Oh shit! I'm assuming I found my guitar.
Yeah, you find it. It kind of just got knocked like a couple feet from you or whatever. It doesn't look damaged. May need to be retuned, but it seems all right for the time being.
Benefits of magical guitars.
Daddy's never gonna let you get hurt, baby. And I strung it a couple times, and then I'm gonna proceed like down since I can't fly right now. I'm gonna proceed down through the building.
Yeah. So
down the stairs.
So you go down. You enter the landing and you see Godric go into the room. And then you're just like, that's weird. But you continue going down the stairs to go check on everybody else and see what's happening.
So that was when he went in there when he did the thing.
Maybe.
So I go down and I see everyone downstairs. How is everyone?
Everybody's just, they're fine. They're scared. They're huddling in the corners, and they're, one of them asks you like, "Is it safe for us to come out now?" Is it gone? Are they gone?
I think they're gone, but we gotta sweep the streets just to make sure. How about this? You just hang out for a minute. I'll go out there with my friends. We'll make sure everything's on the hunky dory, and then once we know that it's safe for sure, I'll come back and get you.
Oh, okay. And then he just turns and starts trying to calm everybody down and kind of collect everyone.
So I make my way out of the building.
Mm-hmm. So as you do, you hear people talking in the street, and there's a voice that you don't recognize, the sound of a woman. So Ulthion, Locke, Connor, Katarina, as you're kind of walking up from the alley, you guys hear a horse ride up to the front of town, and the gate swings open, and there you see on a swinging wide red cloak with a wide-brimmed hat and holding a repeating crossbow, you immediately recognize the emblems for the imperial seal of the Inquisitor's Order of the Church of Parathor. As this female figure opens the door and kind of leads the horse in and starts walking towards you. She sees some of the bones on the ground and she kicks them, and then sees all of you and just, what has happened?
I turn and look at Connor. Would this be the Inquisitor you were speaking of?
Yes, it is. Clara, it is good to see you in good health.
Yes, my hunt was unsuccessful. I was unable to locate the lair of the beast. But what happened to all the undead? What are you doing in the streets? I thought we had agreed to hide everybody and stay out. Who are these individuals who now come here?
Yes, we had. They were in a caravan and wound up outside the gates. We let them in, and unfortunately someone had a little incident of noise, and the werewolf attacked us.
As they feared it would happen.
If you need to see it, his headless body is upstairs on the landing.
I'm sure it's already changed into its old form by now.
There is another one, though. There was, I believe, I'll have to go inside to confirm, but there was a woman I was treating, and shortly after we killed this one, and another one burst from ceiling up there.
Yes, I had suspected that she was lying about her wounds or hiding the fact that the fear of being executed at my hand. Most of her family seemed to have been attempting to shield her from the truth.
The thing is, if she could have just hold on for another day, I could have cured her.
Either way, that was my plan, was to fix the wagon and take her to either Vanheim or Oswald and have the rites performed to cure her. It's very rare that people get bitten by werewolves and not killed, since they seem to mostly hunt for sport in these woods. But it does happen, and I guess I miscalculated how long it would take for her to change. But that might be a result of the darker powers moving into these lands. Either way, so she kind of comes forward, she ties the horse in front of the inn. She's wearing this like yellow tunic that's kind of sparse with like leather armor, and she has these plate pauldrons and the cloak, and she kind of just unfurls it and goes on. She has this long hat, comes out to a point like a hunter's hat, and kind of hooks up this massive crossbow with all these, that has this like full cylinder quiver full of silver tipped arrows. And you can see she has like 2 flintlock pistols and everything she needs, all the trappings necessary to like use them.
Yeah.
And she takes this, like, reaches down, this is tugging at me all day. She like redresses it and pulls out this basically hold out dagger, silver tipped and edged, and just kind of brushes it on her leg, and then like readjusts where it goes in the boot, slips it back in. Either way, I'm Clara Noct, and you are?
Well, I don't know that we have a group name, but this would be Locke, Storm Wizard. And we have Trin Twilight, a
Interesting, a
bard
goblin.
extraordinaire.
Interesting.
There's Katarina. She is
Katarina.
a good friend of ours.
Uh-huh.
And I believe you know Connor, and then I
I know Connor.
Ulfion, a lawmaster of Alatrari. My job is similar to yours, but we don't deal with internal threats. We don't have very many of those.
You should
You're
know.
a blood elf.
I am,
You're very far from home, are you not?
yes, and I'm reminded each day. We have another friend inside, a Goliath by the name of Gumrick.
All right.
You should know that it really did seem like, because there was a second werewolf. Did we mention the second werewolf? There was a second werewolf, and it seemed like it was friends with the first werewolf, because it grabbed its head and just ran off towards the north.
Yeah, so when you decapitated the werewolf, when you killed it, you used silver, correct?
No. I used a holy weapon, but I did not have any silver on hand.
It doesn't matter. The curse is made by a god, and gods can't undo it with their divine magic.
Well,
Not like that, they can't.
It seemed like it was kind of being forced to do it against will. If you could cure that girl, couldn't you cure this thing? It's...
No. Unfortunately, you only have so long to stop the curse and keep it from transferring. If I could track her down and find her, then there's a chance I could still reverse it. That we could still reverse it, but it wouldn't surprise me when an alpha kills or changes someone, their first instincts are to protect and die on their behalf. So it more than likely was trying to take it somewhere so that it could regenerate. Werewolves are extraordinarily dangerous and powerful creatures. The curse makes them more or less immortal and immune to any damage that isn't from some sort of silvered weapon. It's just the nature of the curse. And it's been that way forever.
Is it only these alphas, as you were calling them, that have the ability to manipulate and control undead? This one seemed to
It
have
was controlling the undead? She looks at Connor. Did you see any proof of this?
When it fell, the undead fell.
I've never heard of that before. This seems unconnected. Something else was happening here then.
It
Which is possible.
Sounds like witchcraft.
it was using a scepter. Is it still upstairs?
Oh, its weapon, yes. Actually, so is my glaive. I'll go retrieve them.
We should probably check on Godric as well.
I'm sure he's fine, and the only thing that bothers me is I'm not hearing any screaming yet.
That's what I need.
Well, you all happened into this town. You're here, why? Just traveling through Midheim looking for adventure?
We were on our own mission. We were looking for someone.
One of the many household leaders hire you to find somebody, track somebody?
There's someone that's not from Midheim. We're kind of a recovery party for someone who was thirsting for adventure, if you catch my drift.
So it is adventure then.
I'd rather not lie to you, so I won't be answering some of your questions.
Well, that's interesting. It's all fairly
He has an odd,
normal chatter, is it not?
he has an odd way about him, but it's also kind of honorable, so it's kind of this weird. He's kind of rude, but he's also trying to be respectful.
Well, it just seems strangely evasive. All I asked is what business brings you to Midheim.
Do you trust us?
No, I don't know who you are.
Then why should we trust you?
Because I'm an inquisitor with Imperial authority to ask questions.
Are you asking with Imperial authority right now?
Of course, always.
Excellent. Then I
And
will
so it
cite
has been decreed.
an old law based on the alliances with the Blood Elves. If you choose to follow that, then we can go to your keep and perform whatever interrogations you'd like there. Otherwise, I'll be on my way.
It wasn't an interrogation. I just simply wished to ask what brought you to Midheim. If it's adventure, dozens of adventurers come through Midheim every year, looking to scrounge for lost treasures in Old Vanheim, or to sneak into the vampire aristocracy for lost trinkets and baubles, to dig into the crypts and evade ghouls for lost magical items, to raid the towers of the long-abandoned circles. It's not strange or outlandish.
Right, but as we're doing none of that, then
But you
I
are here for
suppose-
adventure, then. You said you're here to recover and find somebody. It wasn't paid for locally?
No. We're not paid
Then
to
I
do this.
honestly have no interest in it. As long as it doesn't interfere with my official duties.
I'm kind of new to the Inquisitor thing. What's all this stuff that really falls under your official duties, like defeat bad guys, protect the innocents, that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Just like
Yes, to protect the will of Parafor, see it done through all of the lands that he calls his, under his purview, to root out evil and heresy wherever it exists, to defeat dark magic users, bring them to justice in Parathor's light, and to hunt down criminals, murderers, those who evade the law. Those are all underneath my written purview.
As I gaze around at the dreary environment, I think you might need some help.
Yes, that's why I've been summoned.
Oh.
Me and the others that came with when we were ambushed on the road by that werewolf. We were on our way from the outskirts of dealing with the purge in Ostrom when we were beset by it.
Oh,
Most
so
of
this
those
is
individuals who came with me were killed, and those who managed to survive died later of their wounds anyways.
Oh, so this isn't like your normal beat.
No, we were sent here personally. I'm going to make my way to Brayfield, to the fort, in order to thwart the advances of the undead and the vampires who are now claiming that land is theirs. Again, which is why I'm saying I have priorities and goals much larger than whatever dreary adventure brings you to the borders of Midheim. I simply wished to see if you were heading the same direction I was.
Wasn't Brayfield one of the towns that Bridget could have been in?
If you were looking for somebody, it would be extremely likely.
Well, then why don't we redress this entire situation? Did you say you needed to track down the werewolf?
No, I don't need any more. It's
So-
not a priority to me at the time.
So your priority is not the safety of the village?
No, it's not. Not at this moment, it's not. My priority is to get to the vampires and stop their advance and assist in any way I can.
Well,
There is a...
the werewolf, without its scepter, won't be commanding any undead, we assume.
Well,
It's more normal sort of threat they've dealt
That's
with.
not
around
something
here.
that they do anyways on a regular basis. Whatever is attached to that was happening here seems to involve the werewolf, which is very strange. It sounds like witchcraft to me, and black magic for sure. But she kind of looks around. If all the undead have fallen to the ground and are dead, whatever necromantic energies that held them together have passed. The spell is done. The town is no longer in danger of the undead, at least. And the newly minted werewolf will take at least multiple moons to truly become any form of real threat to the town again.
then what we do in the meantime is I bless the waters around the town like we had originally planned. That should buy them a couple days if they need it. And maybe it sounds like we are traveling together.
Maybe.
You said that the werewolf wasn't acting under its own volition.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said.
If the goblin's telling the truth, then it sounds like black magic and witchcraft to me. It was under some other spell.
Trin usually tells the truth.
Whatever you call him, it doesn't matter.
Trin
Again,
Twilight
I'm
is
also not
untitled.
interested in the goblin. Midheim may be an extremely dangerous land and filled with superstitious folk who fall to the more darker sides of themselves on a regular basis, but we don't have the kind of trouble with goblins that some of the other elector counts do in their territories. We're nowhere near the borders of the goblin kingdom of Angmor.
Is it superstitious if they just fought 2 werewolves and an army of the undead?
No, what I mean is of your kind. They don't have reason to fear your kind within their borders.
It could stand to reason that something else could be going on with the werewolf controlling undead. Possibly even maybe a vampire influence.
This far north, it's unlikely.
If they're spreading their tentacles, it is a possibility.
Of course it's a possibility.
We could not.
And in time, other Inquisitors will be assigned to come and deal with those threats as they are. But if you're trying to ask me to stay here and deal with this werewolf that's escaped, that won't happen. I have a different mandate and somewhere else to be. The fact that I stopped here and even attempted to track it down, find its lair, and eliminate it shows that I was well within the forthright thought to at least help to some degree. But if it's escaped, you slayed the one that was dangerous. Newly minted werewolves take several moons even sometimes. It's normally 3 or 4, but normally takes several moons for them to fully control their nature to be able to transform when they need to.
So what you're saying is the village is probably safe for now.
It's more than likely safe for now. They will lick their wounds, they will hide in the forest as lichens like them have done for generations, and they will then regather their strength. And a new werewolf is not nearly as dangerous as you might think it is. It's still capable of spreading the curse and the bite, but it will hunt, it will have to hone its senses, and it's an especially painful time for lycanthropes to go through at this time. And if a vampire is in charge of instigating whatever just happened in this village, then it's even more of a reason for us to reestablish our borders and drive them back.
Then perhaps your journey is in that same direction. Maybe we could give some aid.
That may be the
Assist.
case, but first step is fixing my wagon.
Of course.
None of us will be safe traveling these roads, getting through the rest of the Nightshade Forest and into the Cronewood to Brayfield without an armored wagon.
Of course. The Goliath you did say was Smith, correct? We had discussed helping fix
Yes, the blacksmith here got killed in the first attack.
Godric is a smith, yes. He hasn't had much occasion to use it in some time, but I'm sure he's adequate to fix the car.
At the very minimum, I just need it mobile. And I need to check on the horse team. We secured them, me and the stable hand. I don't know what happened to him, but we secured them and locked them to make sure the undead couldn't wander in.
Well, the rest of the village should be cleared now, so perhaps we send the 2 big men to go retrieve what we need.
I'm more than capable. I'll go look. I'll go secure the horse team and make sure that everything is all right and check on supplies at the blacksmith and see what's there. The wheel should be there anyways.
And shouldn't you take someone with you? What is the harm in buddying up, so to speak?
You said yourself that the undead are gone, correct? They look like bones, and the magic seems to have dissipated. My medallion isn't telling me that there's necromancy at work at the moment. I think we're safe for the night.
Necromancy isn't at work when somebody's hiding in the shadows with a dagger.
The townspeople wouldn't have any reason to harm me. I will be fine. Either way, let me know what the smith says, and we can arrange getting to work, and I can pay for the work, and I can more than likely pay for your accompaniment all the way to Brayfield.
I'm not interested in any pay. We have a job to do outside of...
But of course we won't refuse pay.
Of course.
Yeah, that would be rude.
Inquisition shows favor on those who help us with our imperial mandates.
Gold is always useful.
You know what's better than just gold?
Even
only gold.
He may be a goblin, but
lucky coins.
He's got a sense of humor about him, that's for sure.
Lucky coins.
What makes a coin holy? Are my coins holy?
Well, it's got a hole in it, I would presume.
I don't know. How about
either way? I will be on my way. My horse will stay here, and I will go check on the horse team and see what else I can scavenge from around the area that might be helpful. And then I will come back here.
And then Ultheon, you can give me some money, and if I run into some good luck, we'll know your money's holy.
Do you actually need money?
Well, I'm not as well off as Locke or Godric or Katarina or Ultheon.
You're not as well off as all of us. Right, well, here. And I take off my belt pouch with 80 silver and 50 copper in it. These make a lot of noise. You can hold on to them.
Oh! And I'll keep a journal. And we'll see if the journal says for the next 10 days we're more lucky than the last 10 days, we'll know your money is holy and lucky.
Well, it's yours now, so it's your money.
I take it and I put it on my bed.
So Clara grabs her crossbow and heaves it up on her shoulder and begins walking down the street. And she gets about 15 feet down the street, and then you hear Godric shouting at somebody through the door. And then we're going to take a break.
Oh, shit, Godric done stepped in it now.
Anyway, so you guys hear Godric having a really loud argument with the people on the other side, and it sounds like there's a lot going on inside the inn.
Oh.
No one wants to be the person.
Now it's time to deal with it.
No one wants to be the person doing that.
That's what Locke says. Just,
hey, your brother. Hey, isn't that your brother?
It
Your
is.
weird robot brother?
Why don't we go in and
He's the weird robot.
shut him up, gather some supplies, and we can be on our way.
Yeah, we should deal with whatever that is. So,
Angry mob sound effect.
Yeah. I fucked up. Sorry.
Just real voice.
I go back. I start walking back towards the building.
yeah.
I'm like, hey, everyone, it's safe. You can come out now.
Oh yeah, you said you were gonna do that.
Yeah, I did say I was going to do that.
Nowhere's safe. We're all killers.
If they're undead, this is really kill.
We're all killers.
Well, I didn't kill anything. That murder!
Is it murder when it's a werewolf, or is it hunting?
Self-defense, guys.
No, you killed a
All I
human.
know is the most dangerous thing you can hunt is
I
another
killed the same
person.
thing that you killed.
No, I killed a
I
werewolf.
saw that in
You
a
killed
movie
human.
somewhere.
That is a werewolf.
All right,
Yes.
I will.
All right, so who's doing what?
We're going inside.
We're going inside.
Go inside! Hey, everyone is totally safe.
Yeah, so as you guys get inside, you hear people hurling accusations at Godric, accusing him of being a pagan and an outsider, accusing him of murdering somebody, and you don't catch a name over everybody. And then like a few people start like throwing stuff like in Godric's direction, plates, whatever. And then someone very specifically calls out that they'll make sure the Inquisitor finds out what he's done.
Well, I'm sure that won't be a problem.
If anyone hits me with a plate, I'm going to.
That's your line?
Screw it.
That's why you get
Chat.
set up. This girl literally stabbed you like twice, and you're fine, but a plate pisses you off.
I killed her. We're all good.
Yeah, to be fair,
Yeah.
she didn't get out of that one.
I try and get between Godric and the angry mob.
Oh no.
Oh, jeez. Hold on. I'm doing a thing.
Maybe if you get on Ulpion's shoulders, the two of you will be tall enough to cover most of Godric.
Listen, I know he's a pagan,
Piggyback ride.
and he's kind of a jerk.
That's my religion.
What's going on here? Godric, what's going on?
Nothing. I took care of the problem.
What kind of what are you talking about a problem?
I point to the dead girl.
Oh my God! Godric!
So, he does that. I'll inspect the body. How obvious are those wounds?
Which wounds?
The bite.
The one that got you?
That's pretty nasty. I mean,
The scar?
yeah.
There's some scar tissue there, but the healing potion took care of most of it.
She was bitten by a werewolf. And when I approached her about it, I offered the health potion, and then she hit me twice with my own hatchet.
Okay. So she attacked you?
And then I snapped her neck to prevent the spread of the werewolf.
Godric, you killed a girl! You killed a girl!
No, I took care of a disease.
They seem like they're handling everything, so I'm going to go upstairs to get my glaive and the werewolf's weapon.
It's of fair importance. That's fair.
Yeah, this is a person, Godric! It's a person!
And most people I have problems with are people.
It's a disease or problems. What is it, Godric?
I'm sorry. You don't know what she could have done if she turned. I have seen it before. This is how my tribe has dealt with it. It was a problem. It could have escalated. I stopped it from that. If that is a fucking crime, I guess I should leave.
So, did you go there intending? How did she end up attacking you, and with what? I can't imagine this little girl was much threat to you.
If you want to know, because apparently I'm under investigation.
Yeah.
You just killed a girl. Of course you are.
I'm not. Don't. I just want to know how it happened.
I followed blood after screaming. Katerina told me to go investigate, and she ran out to God knows where.
Okay.
And I went upstairs. I saw a pool of blood. I went in. There's a man upstairs in multiple pieces. His body is smeared all over the wall. The girl was missing half her face, and her arm was basically bitten off.
Okay. So that was the werewolf that came bursting from the ceiling.
There was one that burst from the ceiling.
And when we were outside, knocked.
So there's a second one now.
Yes.
So I went upstairs. She had a bite from a werewolf. I offered the potion to see how she was doing. I gave it to her. Then I said, you know you were bitten by a werewolf, right? Then she walked up, put herself against my chest, said something and grabbed the hatchet off of my body and hit me with it. And it hit me with it again when I tried to stop her.
Okay.
So I grabbed her head and made it stop.
All right.
Just...
Well, she would have turned,
Exactly.
but
Connor's gonna.
we're not around your tribe
the
anymore.
Villagers and the people in the room.
Hmm.
Let's leave the Inquisitor to deal with this. Please calm down. We're not going to let anything get out of hand. Let's do this in a just manner.
So someone kind of speaks up to like, why is she here? Is she back?
She has come back.
And he turns, Ruff, go get the Inquisitor. And like the kid like gets up and he runs to the door and he goes past you all and starts heading towards the street. And you see him hit the street and he turns and starts looking and then just kind of runs into the town and you can hear him calling for Clara.
To be fair, this is how your tribe deals with it normally, right? I've heard you tell stories.
Yes.
I have faith that it will be dealt with in a just manner.
And what does just mean?
Locke,
Just will
he's
be-
not at his tribe.
I understand.
So this lady
He's not
calls out,
that-
she's like, if just means anything, it means you losing your head.
Ha!
They did help us stop the undead.
Yeah, at the cost of murdering somebody? Somebody who could have been cured? Murder is murder, regardless of whether or not they were well-intentioned beforehand.
Locke, I don't think Godric's gonna do well if that Inquisitor gets here.
He'll do fine.
At the very least, we will wind up leaving the village and leaving you to your
Demise.
We're leaving shortly.
We have other matters to attend to as well.
And you'll need to smith some
Yes.
facets and things for the...
Yes, I have to repair the
Card.
goddamn carriage.
Mhm. So,
I don't feel like seeing anyone else come to blood or pain and suffering.
Locke, maybe we should make it look, just to settle things down, maybe we should make it look like we're arresting him and like sequestering him to a room or something, at least to bring down the tension a little bit. Do you think you could come to go along with that?
Hearing Trin say that, I'll walk up kind of in front of Godric and address the group. Your concerns are heard, and you're right. This man must be brought to justice for what he did.
What?
I'm gonna turn around and look at you and say, trust me here. Really quietly so only you can hear me.
Come with me upstairs. Let's look at the scene and figure out what's going on.
we should leave it to the Inquisitor.
Godric is starting to look. Yeah, starts to look at every single one of you now.
I'll look up at you and whisper so only you can hear me. Or I guess I'll cast message with my...
Okay.
So that only, like, literally only you can hear me in my head. Do you trust me?
You see Godric just look at you, and you see him shake his head for a second, and just give you a look. That's all he does. Just.
I'm going to put my hands on your chest, and you gotta tell me if you're willing or not.
Do you trust her? Do you trust her?
This is how she gets her second second.
No.
You're not?
Godric does.
Alright. I am casting Feign Death. So you immediately drop to the floor, no pulse, not breathing.
Oh,
That's it.
okay. Godric.
So there's a loud thud as Godric falls to the floor and
Gwendolyn clatters to the floor because
crashes through a chair and just smashes it, obliterates it. Pieces go flying underneath the tables, sliding across the bar floor. And then it's just dead quiet.
That's how God does.
Dead quiet.
I'll turn around and I'll start walking out of the tavern. I'll say, bring his body, and I'll head out and start going to where the blacksmith shop is. And I hope that the guys that are stronger than me, that could,
Oh my
a
God!
couple of them could carry Godric, will pick him up and follow me.
So you walk through the door, and as you're kind of having that conversation, you slam into Clara, and you hear someone from the outside yell, "She cast black magic, he's dead! She killed him!" And then Clara looks at you for a moment, eye to eye, and she's trying to process. You can see, and she looks past you, looks at you, sees everybody else. Are you a witch?
I have magic, clearly.
Do you call on the powers of black magic and necromancy? Have you made pacts with fiends or other non-terrestrial beings of power and influence?
I have not.
Are you of sound mind?
Yes.
Do you speak the truth? And then you see her reach for her pendant, and she grabs it. And you see this emblem of Parathor kind of come out from underneath her shirt. And she kind of just holds it, and you can see her whispering into it.
I have made no such deals.
All right. She puts it down.
This town called for justice. I saw no peaceful way out of here until they got it.
So you killed him. With what spell? So you openly and freely admit that you just murdered that man.
The town is calling for justice. What would you have had me do?
Wait for me to arrive and med it out. Investigate and get to the bottom of the accusation. Did he kill somebody? Is it true?
Yes, it is true.
You did.
The fuck I did?
You did.
You did.
I did not!
You're feigning death right now. Shut up.
I'm feigning betrayal.
Well, that is a stopgap that you put him down. Drawn and quartering is the standard death for murderers.
I'll also subtly cast message to her. I'm gonna tell her he's fine. I just wanted to calm the townspeople down.
Okay, that may be, but what? You still haven't told me what magic did you use to kill? He looks dead. She kind of walks over to him inside, and everybody's quiet, and she puts her fingers to his neck to feel for a pulse. Like he's under some spell, some enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's just temporary.
So she looks at all of you in the room. Connor, what did you see? What happened?
She talked to him and laid her hands upon his chest, and he fell.
What about the rest of it, though?
The villagers were calling for blood for his head, even. And reprimands for his killing the girl. I did not see him kill the girl, nor do I know what actually happened. I didn't have a chance.
What did he claim the circumstances were that led to him killing this woman?
The second werewolf that we were unaware of apparently attacked her and left her bitten and wounded. Scars are there, but he had given her a potion of healing before he had deduced that she was bitten. And when he did, he defaulted to the customs of his people, rather than asking what is normally done here. Up there, they don't have the means to gather the difficult components for a cure, so they kill. He acted on his impulses, as he often did.
So he murdered
He wouldn't have called it murder.
the young woman.
He was protecting the town.
I mean, he can call it whatever he likes, but we're not in the lands he's from anymore.
And we can deal with that if you wish, but it looks like it doesn't mean much of anything right now. Other than there's a very heavy corpse in here.
So Old Jan comes back downstairs with his glaive. You are all exceptionally lucky that there are extraordinary circumstances that would give me the kind of authority necessary to pardon those as I see fit within the boundaries of the Empire. Restitution should be paid regardless.
Fair.
So she speaks up, looks at the crowd. Who here can claim restitution on behalf of the fallen? As family, relative, loved one, spouse.
Start going through the list of what's in the goddamn bag.
Someone speaks up, comes from the corner. Her cousin, on her father's side, and most of the family is already dead or was killed in the attack. I can claim restitution. Clara. And what would be considered satisfying for you in restitution for her untimely death? I think maybe a few bags of grain, a horse, and maybe 5 gold pieces should be enough to make amends for the wrongdoing.
Horse goes for about 75 gold.
Somebody else speaks up. But what about the witchcraft? She cast a dark spell. I saw it.
Oh no, just
She didn't.
normal.
One other person goes, "This isn't justice, Clara. He murdered her. We have a cure. We could have taken her to a priest and performed the proper rites." And then one of them points to Ulthion. He could have done it. I'm sure his god has some power in these lands. Though a pagan he is, still a worshipper of a divine god.
Well, unless he has a way to undo it this far after the death, what's done is done.
What's done is done is often said by those who know they've made a mistake. What has happened here is wrong. And though Godric is fast becoming my friend, I am on the side of the villagers in this one.
We don't have grain and we don't have a horse to spare, but I do have the coin to that you could adequately purchase them.
The coin will do just fine. If you have the raw coin to pay, then pay,
just
and
give
they can
her-
buy themselves a proper horse later.
I give her 14 platinum.
So she comes forward, takes it, and Clara
That's
looks.
more than enough for a very fine horse and more than just 2 bags of grain.
I decree imperial justice has been met out, and this matter resolved. If any would find this unsatisfying, well, then seek your own justice. Either way, the matter's put to rest. And in the accusation of witchcraft, I see no evidence for any of being cast. And everybody gets real quiet, starts to sit down, goes back to what they're doing. This is the smith, right? Can we take him somewhere? He should probably stay out of sight. He's supposedly dead.
Carrying weight.
Oh, I
He can
can.
do it.
If you give me some time, I can do something.
As long as you. I'm 500 pounds, so that's the only reason I brought it up.
I think.
More than that, dude.
Yeah,
Dead weight, bro.
500 pounds dead weight plus like the 80 to 90 pounds I'm carrying on me. So
How tall are you, man?
8'6".
Dude, there's like
Just answer huge next time.
Fucking huge.
it's like there's like 6 foot football players that weigh 400, 500 pounds. You're fucking massive.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
You're lean.
You shall have to answer amongst yourselves
That's
for what
what I-
happened here and what transpired. Know that this is the only one pardon in favor I will be granting your group as long as you are accompanying me. I will not stand in the way of other inquisitors or other individuals who may view this very differently.
Excellent.
No double jeopardy laws around here, I guess.
No, if another inquisitor finds out what has happened here and finds out that he has evaded punishment, they will come for all of you as accomplices. You will be hunted relentlessly within the boundaries of the Empire.
I'm gonna need a few.
Delightful. Katarina, a word, and I go outside.
Yeah, I'll follow you around.
I suppose I'll help care. We're dragging you. We're
dragging
you.
you.
There's nothing to pick
Yeah.
up.
I'm gonna pick 'em up.
Care? We're dragging you.
You're like,
Dragon.
Yeah.
How much can you lift? Yeah, you.
He's strong.
1080.
Wow,
No, okay.
that's a
He's
lot.
strong.
I thought you
Orbs.
drag 1080 and lift
Push,
5
carry, lift.
But I thought there was a carry weight too.
Push, carry, lift.
Carry and drag are 2 separate numbers, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
He'll be able to get you there eventually.
Yeah,
You guys got it.
One way or another?
he'll figure it out.
There's a horse out there too.
Bring him to the
Just get him
Smiths
outside,
and he
there's a
can-
cart.
He can hang out.
Yeah,
there
so you
for
guys
a
start
little
getting together,
while.
figuring out how you're going to drag Godric while Katarina and Olpion step outside into the street.
While he's thinking about the logistics of what to do, I'll go outside and find a cart. I'm just gonna roll it through the front doors.
So Clara goes over and she starts talking with the other individuals in town and trying to explain things and calm them down a little on a more personal to personal basis. Some of the other villagers kind of walk by and sneer, and a couple like spit on the ground near Godric, and then you hear a couple of curses about his soul going places that you don't want souls to go. And you know, they kind of make their way past you and Olpion out into the street. People start kind of going, and you know, about a group of 10 or so, they head into the town and they start doing like various small tasks, like cleaning up and moving some of the barricades, and you know, lighting some more of the torches in the streets, the lanterns that have been put out for since you arrived and the attack started. Trying to gain some sort of semblance of normal, it seems. So you kind of give them an extra like minute to kind of clear the immediate space around you so that nobody can eavesdrop.
That an Inquisitor may not have seen anything wrong with it magic, but I recognize necromancy when I see it. You need to be careful here. There is no differentiation between a witch and a wizard or anything else. And we have discussed before, there is a corruption to your magic. You may need to find another way to solve your problems while we're here.
It may have been a rash decision. I apologize. I didn't know how to calm them down.
Yes, well, Godric made quite a rash decision too, as did Trin. I think the group tends to do that. But I'm not here to lecture you. You know what you're capable of, and you know who you are. I'm just here to defend you, and right now the best may be to hide what's happening.
Maybe the sooner we can get out of this town, the better.
The sooner we can get out of Midheim, the better. Clearly they don't want us here, and all of the solutions I can think of they should have tried hundreds of years ago. Some people just want to suffer.
Hopefully this display will have the people off of our backs until we're ready to go.
Yes. What we did here is so easily overshadowed in the face of fear. I think going forward we need to have a much bigger plan about everything we do. And the group seems to listen to you, so perhaps you should maybe put that plan together.
I don't know about that, but I can try.
Well, I learned quite a bit. I'm confident in saying that we can take on whatever comes next. Just try and help the group be smart about it. What do you think of this orc?
He seems to just want what's good for the village as well as we do. It seems that at least he knows we did good here, even if the townspeople may not see it that way.
A clear bowl of water can be corrupted by a single drop of ink. So all that good we did may have been wiped away by what Godric did.
But the rest of them are alive. They wouldn't have been.
Sometimes being alive is the larger suffering. They did have to just watch their friend die. Not planning on starting an argument with Godric, but maybe a group consensus when we can would be best from now on.
I'm sure apologies will be needed on my end. I'm sure he won't be happy when he wakes up.
Oh, he took a nap, he'll be fine. Well, that's all I had.
A deep nap.
Let's get out of here as soon as we can.
Agreed.
I'm gonna head back inside and see if maybe after we get all sack of Godric moved, maybe we can investigate that weapon.
Agreed. I should probably be there when he wakes up to explain.
Probably. How long does the spell last, by the way?
About an hour.
I finish wheeling up the cart and say, "Here, a very good, rational, well thought out decision." Da.
Yes, a cart. Genius. Well, maybe we should have Trin pull him in there. Yeah, I'll go back inside. I want to get a closer look at the werewolf's weapon, the maul that it had.
Okay.
Truncheon, really. I don't know.
Make an investigation check. So you guys managed to get Godric. You drag him out into the street. You drag him down to the blacksmith's inside the building. You close the drapes and kind of throw him in there and just wait for him to eventually wake up, which he does after about an hour. You know, groggy and tired. I was going to say something I forgot what it was. Meanwhile, eventually Clara happens to kind of get the village righted and the people from the caravan and convinces everybody to basically take the day or so to rest. She sets individuals out to watch and clear out like the dead bones and orders a pyre to be built and them to be burned there to remove any of the foul taint of necromantic magic and its use from within the town. She then performs a strange sort of almost divine cleansing of like the initial space of the inn and stuff. It doesn't seem like there's any magic cast, but it seems more like a superstitious kind of ritual or something that she does. Everybody immediately feels much better about being in the town after she does it, and everybody kind of goes about their business, goes out into the streets, they go back to their homes, and they start trying to kind of rebuilding their lives. Clara comes out into the street, sees the two of you there, meets up with you, and asks you to come with her to the blacksmith shop. Well, it seems as though the horse team is fine. All the horses are in good shape, and it looks like the oats and the grains that we left in there for them to graze on during the siege itself seems to have sustained them. So they should be strong and healthy enough to leave immediately, in which we should as well. After everything that just happened, we can't stay here. So we should focus on repairing the wheel and then getting out and going. But without the armored wagon being fully functional, should probably accommodate some of the horses on Imperial authority that were bringing the caravan wagons here, and you should more than likely ride them as a part of traveling with me.
Understandable.
I can see it done, and
anyway.
I'll accommodate some, but not all of the cost of the horses to recompense for it.
I'll donate when I can. Anybody else can do the same, that might help. But we have another problem, is you seem to be the only one carrying silver. We need to rectify that.
And you would like me to do what about this problem?
Well, we need to look over this smithy and see if it even has the tools capable of silvering a weapon.
I just feel that it would be pretty ill-advised for you to be traveling out here without stashes and armories. And if we're on Imperial duty, we need to procure some of those items.
Silver is rare and it's expensive. You don't just give it to anybody. We can't even afford... Midheim can't even afford to arm its own troops and guards and knights with silvered weapons. Silver is a rare commodity. The silver mines were in Strassland. All of our silver is imported in the Midheim.
Well, we can make do, I'm sure, but...
The weapons of my fallen...
statement coming from someone who has disposable silver bolts for their crossbow.
Not disposable. Retrievable, but not disposable. And of course, I'm not from Midheim. I come from the Imperial College and the Church of Parathor, all the way from Conwald and Reichland to be here. Silver and gold mines slightly more plentiful as you head north and towards the main mid of the Empire. But out here in Midheim, far more rare, surprisingly, considering what they deal with.
You don't import from Ostrom? I thought they had a silver mine or two.
Maybe in the past. The mines have slowed. There's unrest all across the Empire.
Well, my knowledge of Profatis is 200-300 years old, so...
A lot has changed in 2 or 300 years. The short lives of humans make sure of that.
Either way, it is a problem we need to try to remedy if we can.
We may be able to in a larger city. But out here, for the time being, you just have to deal with what you have. Magic is still effective. It will kill most of, not all of the creatures that you encounter. But specific cases, vampires themselves, werewolves, vampires, you have a little bit more at your option. Direct daylight, holy water. We can stop them, slow them down, and harm them, but in vampire spawn, you'd be easily able to eliminate with ease based on your skills and armor and weapons that I've observed. But a true born vampire from one of the original lineages, would be a different problem altogether.
I don't see how it would be a problem for the true son of Glorindel, but the rest can't do that. And I worry for some of them. Either way, where is our next stop? Once we get this wagon fixed up, where are we heading?
Well, the next place we'll be heading would be, if you're looking for silver weapons, we'll stop in Oswell, on our way to the Brayfield Run, down to Brayfield. That will be the most dangerous part of the journey.
The Brayfield Run?
Yes.
What's so dangerous about it?
Overrun constantly, the Cronewood, with ghouls and vampire spawn, all manner of evil things. There are many ruined, abandoned, and long-lost villages and mass graves all across Midheim. But the Cronewood borders the vampire aristocracy. All evil that they're capable of unleashing makes its way in there, and then across our borders into raid our towns and cities. If we're not on guard, we could lose our lives.
I have a symbol to show you. Perhaps it will help identify the threat if you're not aware of it yet. I recently used a divination prayer and discovered this. I'll pull out the symbol of the Kra family.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And she looks at it. Oh yes, I recognize them.
They are a direct threat to the person we're here to find. And if that person is in Brayfield, then it seems we may have to deal with them.
And there's no time to waste. None whatsoever. The Fort Renton, Brayfield, the entire land is under current siege and assault by the undead. What we saw here, what you witnessed here, is only a very minor fraction of the power that true vampires bring with them when they lead their armies out of the crypts and long-dead cities to wage war on the Empire. Midheim has been mustering its forces in Oswell to march through the forest to meet them in pitched battle. But mustering the armies has been difficult. Many of the counts disagree. They squabble over lands and old blood feuds and issues. They cannot see that their own destruction marches slowly towards them with the mist and the miasma. Which is why my order was called to settle the matter.
And how many of you are here?
We were 5 strong, now it's only me.
My condolences.
Yes, they were all killed by the werewolf when they ambushed us on the road.
Well, the werewolf has a fear of death now. I saw it in its eyes. If it can regenerate and come back.
It would take many months to regenerate its full body and capabilities once again.
If you need help after we're done here, I'm sure some of the party would be willing to help you track down that werewolf. But we'll finish what we start and then move on.
I want to be back here. Again, my mandate takes me to Brayfield, and then from there, I await further assignment.
You don't seek vengeance for your fallen comrades?
Why would I?
It's a bit alien to me not to.
I bet vengeance was met by you on my behalf. I hate the filthy, cursed creatures and the evil things that they turn into and what they're capable of, but my friends' souls rest with Parathor now. In peace.
I believe that's true.
I've learned over years of being in my profession not to mourn over those lost. At least not for long.
Well, let's get this wagon fixed up.
Either way, to answer your question, Oswell, we should be able to find silver. If you have the coin to pay for the work to be done, a smith there should be capable of meeting out. If not, we head to the castle and the Lord and we ask them for assistance. I should be able to levy something on our behalfs and resources, but I dare not push my luck when troops are being mustered in there and many officers and nobles have gathered in Oswell.
How long of a ride is it to Oswald?
About a day and a half, 2 days on bad terrain, which we may encounter in the woods. When I first arrived, I was informed that the local lord had attempted to organize militias and troops to build outposts and fortifications to help slow the spread of the horde of undead as they moved their way southeast from here. And I don't know what kind of state they would be in. There may be barricades, there may be undead plaguing the roads.
Do you have a map of the area, or is there a way we could get one?
Oh, I have a map.
Maybe I'll take a look at that while they work on the wagon.
Sure, I can give you a map.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to know or that we could work on?
Well, it seems you're going to take the lead, and I'll do my best to help the party with that change of leadership.
I wouldn't consider myself leading you. We're traveling in the same direction. I'll compensate you, but I'm not in charge.
Often authority is hard to put aside, regardless of what people may say. I have a feeling you'll be calling the shots.
By the way, if it comes to that and I need to, then sure. But you all seem seasoned and more than capable enough. I shouldn't have to.
What do you know of the Oak? Should he travel with us? Is he traveling with you?
From my understanding, he had traveled here and was settling in as a mercenary to do some work. I'm not exactly sure. We didn't really have a lot of time to chat over the course of my stay. But if he's following you, then he's free to join. Another weapon is another weapon.
Very true.
And these lands are overrun with undead at the moment.
Good point. I guess if he doesn't smell dead, then he's on our side.
Yes. Yes, if he has a pulse, he's on our side. Well, yes or no. There are guesses as to whether or not ancient vampires have a pulse.
Well, that would be news to me. I haven't dealt with a lot of their kind.
Neither have I. Either way. We should repair the wheel, repair the door best we can. The structural integrity will still be nominal, not 100%.
Sometimes adequate is all we can accept.
I shall go see about acquiring the horses then. We'll travel quickly. More than likely we won't stop for rest.
And then we'll rest now, as good as we can.
Alright, I'll be back then. She kind of leaves and goes out of the room. Goes outside in the street.
As Godric is kind of coming to, I want to go kind of just sit in front of him as he wakes up.
Yeah, I'm there too, for sure.
God, what did you do?
I'm sorry,
I'm gonna splash a bucket of water on him too.
Boom! You're hit with freezing water.
By crum, I'm going to fuck you. Oh!
The townspeople were very angry. I didn't know any other way to calm them down.
What did you do? God.
I did what I thought was best.
That's not answering what you did.
Just as I know you did.
I feel like someone hit me in the head.
I'm gonna splash another bucket of water on him.
Boom! Over the back.
That one was for the smell.
You're one to talk, alright? Jesus.
Who's Jesus?
Crumb, sorry. Wow, weird.
It's just
Tell me of this prophet.
a spell that I learned a long time ago.
Alright, God, don't ever do that again. Jeez.
If you're angry, it's okay.
I'm not angry.
If you want to shout, I'll listen.
You're real thirsty,
but
though.
Ugh.
And he just threw all the water.
But Thank you for trusting me.
I do. Mind all of your immediate distrust of me.
I told them you did what you thought was right. What distrust?
I
That's
don't
exactly
know.
what you did.
She hit me twice with an axe. What am I
Right.
supposed to do? Let her do it?
I mean, you could have.
That's not the point.
I know. That's why I said you did what you thought was right.
It's like the same thing. If I take an axe and try to hit freaking Trin, he's gonna stop me.
Well, he's probably going to run.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But, so what is the plan now? I'm assuming the villagers aren't happy with me. If another one throws a goddamn dish at me or calls me a pagan, I will show them dirt.
To them, you're a pagan. Just like to you, she was a threat.
And to me, they're cowards.
Alright, fine.
But still, what is the plan?
You have to smith some parts to fix the wagon, and
So,
we need to get out of here.
We're fixing the wagon and the door and the wheel and all the parts, yes?
Correct.
Time frame.
As soon as
How fast can you do it? And what's up to you?
With
now.
no sleep, I can get it done in 3 days. Maybe less.
Well, you can sleep in the cart when you're done, I suppose.
I don't think I'd fit. I saw it.
You can sleep on top of the cart when it's done, I suppose.
Swear to God, if I do, someone better protect me. Last time I took your advice and took a nap, we woke up in a shipwreck.
Oh. Well, that wasn't my fault.
I don't know whose fault it was. When I woke up, you were there, I was there, and there was no goddamn boat.
You do sleep heavy.
he walks heavy too.
He is heavy.
Either way, fine. Get my tools out. Let's get this furnace going. Let's start smithing. If anyone offers a hand, I could use it.
I'll do what I can.
Just need someone to hold the steel as I hit it. Generally. I can do it all, but having someone assist might make it go faster. Just take my instruction, it'll work.
Maybe we should ask if anyone else has some experience with smithing, but I can hold things for you.
It would work. Also,
I'll
completed...
hold the light, Dad.
Exactly. And at some point, Katerina, I would like to talk with you when you have a moment.
Sure,
Nothing too crazy, just I have a question.
of course.
I prefer to ask in private, so.
I do not believe that I will be of any help. I'm going to go rest for now.
Good.
I'm gonna try to. I don't know if this place has like an upstairs or anywhere that I can go to.
With the blacksmith shop?
Yeah.
No. No, it doesn't. It has a small, like detached, like almost, I guess, like hovel, really, where the smith was listening, where he was staying. The shop itself is fairly nice. You could probably find space to sleep.
Alone?
I mean, if you don't want to leave the room, it's
Yeah.
not going to get loud right away.
Don't worry, the sound of the hammer is quite soothing after the first hour.
So the door of the wagon
It's going to take
has
us
been
time to
ripped
get the
off.
forge lit anyhow.
Yes.
No, just damaged,
Oh, just
like bent.
Oh.
When you guys looked at it, there were definite damage, scrapes, claw marks, scratches on the side.
Figured.
It looked like something heavy had thrown its weight into the door, basically to try to get inside, and was
Right.
possibly unsuccessful.
I place my hand on the door then and cast mending.
All right.
Yeah, I'll place my hand on the door, concentrate for a second, and then a white energy will wash forward from me into the door itself. As long as the break or tear, etc., is no more than 1 foot in any dimension, then I can mend it.
It's a little bit bigger than that, but you can fix the part that matters,
Yeah, as long as I can make
which
it
is like the
working
handle
door
and door
again.
jam. Yeah,
Right.
Get the hinge on that.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And
And so the metal like bends and creaks with through your divine magic and shifts back into place, becoming a whole handle again.
Spell works better on wood, but clearly I can heal the metal and I can heal the skin.
I can That hinge was the important part. The rest of the door can be put into shape with a little bit of oomph.
The question is,
Who is this random dog?
can I help
The
in such a
blacksmith's
way?
dog.
A survivor, that's for
Oh,
It's our dog now.
Oh, you're a legendary action doggy.
Just what we need a dog to take care of.
sure.
Yeah, you guys already have a Godric to take care
What
of.
happens if the dog
Not
gets
enough
bit by a werewolf?
responsibility.
It turns into
Yeah.
a werewolf.
Yeah.
Pets are
With
never good
no
at that
brain.
in D&D. They're just
Uh,
your heart every time.
well, hopefully, with the help of my magic, we can turn these 3 days into a much shorter amount of time.
Have you ever worked a forge before? Out of everyone, I feel like you might have looked at it once.
I'm almost 500 years old.
That's why I said that.
Yes, I've done a little bit of everything.
Good. I'll need your hands.
Yes, I'll cast spells with them. If you want me to hold something, then maybe ask that orc. You've been making googly eyes at each other anyway.
I'm debating if I should chop his head off or not.
No, I wouldn't try. Only got a glimpse of him fighting, but
It's
he's got
I
better technique.
I don't mean I'm going to fight him. It just means that last orc I fought, he was a good guy.
So, wagon repair,
Yep.
wagon repair. What are we doing? For the about day and a half or so it should take to get the wheel fixed and put on.
I'll probably. I'm gonna see if I can help out with the forge at all.
Well, it's a day and a half because you're getting assistance from magic.
Yeah. You originally said 3 days.
Okay, I thought I was tripping then. Okay, cool. So, okay. I was hoping I had a decently right time frame.
What were you saying?
I didn't say anything, but I can say something. You
I
want to
thought
know?
you said something.
Oh no, I didn't say anything.
Oh, never mind then.
Spend a little bit of time helping out with the forge and spend some time helping repair some of the village.
Okay. Katarina, how do you want to spend your day?
I will probably ask Konar if there's like an abandoned house or something that we can use as like our lodging for while we're here, and just go.
Clara just straight accommodates the whole inn for you guys.
Okay, then I'll go there into my room and.
It's the most like structurally safe structure in town, so she just, they repair the door to the outer balcony, completely seal it. She gets several of the villagers to like repair the hole in the roof or whatever, and then they just block that room off with a couple of strong nails and boards from the inside.
Yeah, then I'll go up and claim a room in there, and I want to read. I just want to read over my spell book, my tome.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Oof.
Okay. So after hours of poring over your father's spell book, you unlock 2 new spells that you now know. You learn of a powerful lich that once roamed the realms before he was being imprisoned and separated from his body, named Vecna.
That's a good one to know.
As you learn Vecna's Whisper, which is a 4th level spell.
I like the
4th level spell.
You also
There we go.
learn of a once extraordinarily powerful witch that walked the material planes and said to have crossed into other realms.
It's like an
The witch's name is
encyclopedia bad guy.
Tasha. And you unlock the codex for one of her powerful spells as well.
Neat.
As you learn... both of these have to be cast from the spellbook, by the way.
Okay, I will add those in between games so that they're in here.
Oh, here we go.
Now,
You learn
hurry, Terrowyn. Save the party. Save the world.
using the power of the spell tome. You can cast once a day. You can cast Tasha's otherworldly guise.
Oh shit!
That sounds good.
That does sound good.
Which is a 6th level transmutation.
It sounds like disguise self, but like way better.
Well, you have 6th level magic? I want 6th level
It's like a
magic.
six-
I have a 6th level.
What?
Yeah. Items are cool.
Little humble brag over
Hell
there.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
they are.
So Vecna's
So you
can
want
be
6 level
cast.
bitch
You
boss.
learn that permanently. Tasha's you can only cast from the spell book.
Exploding blade.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a 1-a-day spell as a part of your artifact.
Okay, but I just learn Vecna's,
Yeah.
or it costs charges from the book.
No, it's you just learn Vecna's.
Sweet.
I don't know what any of that means, and I'm terrified.
All right, I'm just gonna take pictures of the spells and I'll add
Yeah,
them.
that's fine. Take your time.
If you want to.
Oh my goodness, bless
That's
you.
you.
What books were those from?
Because you're only capable of
Doctor, man.
casting
Hey,
a
I'm
5th
the
level,
cleric.
one
I do
4th
the
level,
blessing.
or 4th
No,
level
he's been
spells,
doing it
right?
for longer.
I can cast 5th level spells.
Okay, that's what I thought. So
Yeah.
5th level spell status. So I gave you a 4th level. Yeah, Tasha's guys is 1 a day from the book. But
The book of everything. More than Cannon's Tome of Lost Magic.
Okay. I think I have both of those, so I can add them to the homebrew stuff on
so
D&D Beyond account.
during your downtime, you spend time meandering through the town, keeping Godric out of line of sight, trying to keep him hidden from the townsfolk who were assured that he was dead. Kind of cordon off the inn and the forge, and most people are given a curfew, which they have to be inside their homes from like basically just before sundown until sun up in the morning. And you do that day, that one night. Godric, Ulthion, Locke are capable, Connor are capable of getting the wagon wheel fixed and on to the best of their abilities.
I have inspiration for the day.
Do you? Awesome. And Clara meets up with you, puts together the horse team. She buys a driver, whom you already know. She gets Willem, the caravan driver, to do the wagon. And he's one of the few people, along with maybe several others within who arrived via the caravan who weren't from the town, who were kind of on your side, and they made that known throughout the day, like the day and a half or so it took to get it fixed. And so they all decide to come with you, basically. He gets his family, and they buy space, or they don't buy, but she's paying them, so they get to ride inside the armored wagon along with Clara, and then you're all acquired horses. She unhitches the largest horse for Godric and replaces it with another one. Kind of adjusts the team around. But you are all ready to ride.
Long rests?
Yeah, of course.
To get it done. Okay, so
We had time to rest if we're all working on it, I assume.
Nope, not Godric.
I figured. Do I have to make an exhaustion save?
You do. It's a Constitution save.
Oh.
DC 10.
Jesus,
throw your die.
inspiration. Why don't you use it?
Because he succeeded.
Because I succeeded.
Not how that works.
Oh well.
Anyways.
I'm confused.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
So you save over the night of basically nonstop work that you do.
Mhm.
Locke is able to help you the most. Ultion has to take a break. Connor takes over when Ultion needs to go to sleep in order to avoid exhaustion. And you guys get that wagon wheel on there. You get it secured. You do the best to remove your dents. He uses mending to repair most of the damage to some of the arrow firing slits. And you are prepared to go. So you gather your belongings and you leave Black Hollow behind you. As you begin riding off at basically early morning, as the mists are still starting to settle around the small watery areas around the pond or whatever was nearby. Pond. The town just grows small in the past behind you as you head into the dark and dense forest that is the Nightshade Forest. So, you ride for a few hours before you guys come to what looks like some sort of fortification to a degree. It looks like someone had knocked down some trees, chopped them down hastily, made a small encampment, and kind of blocked passage on the road. You can see the leftover remains, tattered remains of like a small camp. You can see some scattered weapons, spears, polearms, crossbows, and stuff that just been kind of left there, but there's no signs of anybody like actually manning the location. Clara kind of gets out of the armored wagon. Well, I was afraid of this. We're gonna have to move it and get it out of the way. This will more than likely be an issue the rest of the path.
I prepared levitate.
I
So anything that's around 500 pounds, I can just make it weightless.
Okay.
We can move it aside.
will that lift the whole thing?
If it's only 500 pounds gets used up pretty quick with a lot of things. That's only a rock like that big. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna hop off, and is it just a whole tree on the road right now, like a whole chop tree?
There's like 2 of them, and there's been some like crates and some other stuff stacked in behind it.
the logs probably make it move easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to the first log.
This is clearly a barricade.
And I can move it.
Well, let's fan out first and make sure everybody's well protected while you move it.
All right.
I'll grab the other one.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to an advantageous position and keep my eyes and ears open.
Okay. Sounds good. So, riding your horses and such, you kind of all like secure the area around, kind of dismount, start looking into the forest around you, and as Godric kind of goes over there and starts with Locke, and they start working to kind of move the barricade, you all realize just how deep and unsettling the woods are. There is a low wind that just constantly passes through the trees, making noise. Everything shuffles. Leaves are constantly being moved and brushed about. And there is a strange, almost magical like ambience that seems to kind of echo through parts of the forest at times. You're actually reminded very much of the Leshen and the kind of environment that it fostered and generated in the forest. The feeling of all the wildlife, like watching from secluded and hidden locations, hidden in their burrows and their trees, just watching you intently.
At the thought of the Leshen, I kind of adjust the eye patch over my broken eye.
In the distance, you hear wolves, which is fairly normal. There's also some strange... Sometimes the wind just sounds like it's speaking to you. You're not sure, the echoes of something terrible in the past, maybe? Some unrested spirits in the forest. Then Trin, make a perception check for me.
Oh, no.
As well as Godric and Ultion.
Perception.
Yes.
Oh, I perceive
Very little.
10.
I perceive very little.
I perceive average.
There's 10.
Number 10?
17.
17.
I rolled really low to get that 10, by the way.
So Godric, as you're like heaving up and you're like lifting it, and like getting ready, Locke is just like, hold on, and he casts levitate on the thing, and you're just like, oh! You just pick it up and you start moving off the side, and as you kind of turn to the right and you drop it, you catch eyes with something in the woods off to the right, like humanoid shapes, moving very slowly in your direction. There's about 5 of them. Maybe they're not moving in your direction, but there's like 5 humanoid shapes just standing out in the forest. And they don't seem to be... They're moving and swaying, but they're not like... You're like, I can't tell if they're walking towards me or not.
Oh, that's...
I'm gonna whistle out
Mhm.
and see if and just.
Does anybody know what his whistle means?
I mean, sure, we've been around each other long enough.
Yeah, I'm just waving a hand
Yeah,
over.
so you hear him. Everybody else is like...
Okay. I'll look where he's pointing.
You notice that Oltheon is... Or not Oltheon. You notice that Godric is staring something down. And Trin, you notice that there is something going on out in the woods nearby.
Well, this whole place has me uncomfortable, and now he's pointing something out. So I'm going to cast another spell of see invisibility.
I'll actually speak up a little bit. Altheon,
Yes.
be quiet. Come here.
Okay.
Or quiet down. Sorry.
I walk over to you.
What do your elf eyes see?
Damn you.
Was it the same thing he sees?
Mhm.
Do you have dark vision?
I don't know.
It's not night. It's still early day. The
Oh.
forest is dark and it's casting shadows, but there's still bits of beams of like god rays and stuff breaking through the forest in the distance. And you can see the 5 humanoid shapes. They're kind of obscured slightly by the shadow of a large tree there nearby and some underbrush, but you can definitely make out that there's something standing out there, just kind of like wobbling and moving almost erratically in place. Like one of them will make like a quick shift forward and then step back, and then another one kind of rock and lean on the tree.
About how far away do they look like they are?
Maybe 60 feet.
Exactly what I needed you to say. Okay. Glorindel, show me what I need to see. I put my hand forward and cast daylight 60 feet in front of me, which is a 60-foot radius sphere of light directly on them.
Oh. You
Okay.
don't look at what's in
So-
the dark. Rule number 1.
Okay, I'm on.
It's not
I'm
in
on.
the
I'm
dark
on.
anymore.
I'm on
The
your
dark
side
sees
right now.
that.
100%.
This
So,
is like
I did
legitimately
cast it
creeping me out.
Okay, so as you... Okay, so 2 things happening at once. So as you cast daylight, there's a blast of light in the woods out to your guys' right as the sun just lights up the woods. All the shadows are dissolved and pushed away. And you guys see that there are 5 bodies that have been hung from the tree and are just in the wind, just kind of shifting a little bit, ever so slightly. Just back and forth very subtly. What you see as you cast See Invisibility is you see what looks like ethereal and ghostly figures kind of closing in on the space nearby. You can see what looks like the shapes of maybe bandits or humans at one point. They look savage and torn up and broken, and they're kind of moving in on the sides, closing in on the space.
I'll check it out. As I hop down and I go to run towards the woods to like see who these people that were hung
So
up.
Trin's just like down and like running over there.
using my nimble escape and my goblin.
And then when Trin does that and he starts running, you once again hear the strange whispering and this single loud gasp of deep magic or breath just kind of echoes through the woods.
How many did I see?
A dozen or so.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, you're looking at them and they're just kind of
Oh boy.
moving in very slowly. Just they're not attempting to hide, and they're just moving through the underbrush and the trees, just going through them,
Are
kind
they
of standing off.
Are they
to the
moving
side.
towards us or locked in on?
Yeah, they're
looking
moving
at us?
towards you. they're all looking right at you,
Yeah.
and they see you
That
right
makes
back.
sense.
You can see like a
Yeah.
light blue pinpoints of light in their
Yeah.
dead, corroded eye sockets.
So, when Trin jumps down and the light goes off, and then I see all this, my normally like kind of pale, dim, glowing eye starts to brighten and gets like a darker, like almost purple blue. And I shout to Trin, stop! And then hold out my hands, and I'm going to cast Magic Missile at level. How many come in the regular one? Yeah.
In the words of Lethal Lilith, it is far too spooky for the shit as late of the night as it is. That's taken paraphrase because it's not exactly what
So,
you said. But
When the daylight spell goes off and it shines that divine light outwards and brightens up the forest, for a moment you see the shapes of figures like in the light, like moving through it, and they kind of get out of the way of the light and they kind of move into the shadows just very quickly. So for like just a moment, you feel like you see the shape of like faces and the outlines of human figures.
Just as that goes off, I cast the magic missile at 4th level and hit the 6 that are nearest to any party members.
Okay. So yeah, you cast it. You hear him. Boom! There's a crack of magic, of arcane magic, as these silver bolts of magic just kind of dash out and strike into these figures. None of you see what gets hit. You just see the bolts disappear into something, and the whispers start to happen again, and they become louder and more
Trin,
erratic.
get back to the cart, everyone.
And Clara turns and she's, "What are you doing? This is all disturbing.
Everyone
You
back to
shouldn't
me.
pick fights with the spirits that inhabit the forests.
And we need
Has
to move
nobody
away.
ever told you anything like that?
Well, they're coming towards us, and we need to move away.
They're watching us."
I'm going to attempt to run up and throw the last remaining tree.
She kind of looks over. It's clear what happened. Either way, we should be going now that you've attempted to attack them. You should have said something before casting magic in the woods, putting us all in danger over things you know nothing about.
We're already
Get on your
in danger.
horses. Yeah. So you guys getting on your horses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the horse.
Does
then.
the last tree need to be moved still?
Give me an athletics check.
I'm gonna use the inspiration brought to you by Lethal Lilith today.
Nice.
Who is also totally right about this being very spooky.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Oh, which means nothing, so what'd you roll?
Means you got the best you can get. And that's all we can ask from him.
Mhm.
Feels low. 24?
24?
24 plus.
For athletics.
With a natural 20?
No.
It should
Go
be-
back to your skill real quick.
Isn't your strength a +5? So it's
Yeah.
at least a
Highlight it.
25.
You're proficient in athletics, and you probably have a
I don't
20
think he's
strength.
proficient. You took something else.
He is proficient.
I was
So-
allowed to fix that. So
No, so you had a 29.
yes, it's 29. I'm not
Yeah.
crazy, right? Yeah,
I
29.
don't know why it's not
29.
added up right.
Yeah,
It's
so you
only-
like get it up and you're just like, "All right, out of the way," and you throw it and huck it to the side. Boom! It crashes into the side, splinters on the ground, destroying what's left of the makeshift camp and removing all the barricades. And then you go back and jump on your horse, and as Willem like kicks up the horses and the team sprints off and begin moving. And as you look behind you, you can see that the spirits have like kind of slowly congregated towards the center of the road, and they're just standing and like pointing in your direction as you ride off.
Look, the spirits of the dead are not always here to kill us. Sometimes they're curious, and oftentimes, if respected, we can avoid them entirely.
Oh, no.
No, that wasn't an opinion, that was a fact.
So you just speed down the road for about 5 minutes, making sure that there's enough distance. You know, Willem slows the pace, and you all kind of slow down. And then Clara opens up one of the like armored slats, and she says something to Willem, and he kind of pulls the car off to the side and stops for a moment. And she gets out, and she comes over to Ulthian. She's like, "I wasn't 100% sure, and you said that people should be taking directions from me. But let me explain some things about moving through the lands of Midheim. Curses and dark magic waft over these lands. Some are accursed dead, some are dead to harm us. When we see something, please communicate it. You could have put us in far more danger than if you had just let them do what they were doing.
Maybe.
No, you would have. I'm not going to take maybes from pretentious wizards, things and animated objects without a real soul. Listen. If you see something or you have questions, let me know, and I may be able to explain. Based on what I saw at the road, the ghosts are dangerous, but not dangerous in the way that you would think. They wouldn't come at us with ethereal blades and force. Their idea is to curse you and undermine your willpower and drive you insane, which is what happened to the men who were stationed there. They killed themselves, or they killed each other, and the last of them ran off into the woods screaming. You angered them when you cast magic at them. If we had ignored them, stayed sound of mind with the presence of his god and my god looking over us, we would have been fine. So,
Seems everyone's fine now.
no rash actions next time.
Yeah.
Just say something.
Your words are just as vile as these woods. If you insult my friend again, we will have more problems than undead to deal with.
We have to get past that
It doesn't matter.
forest.
Do you want to die in these woods and join the dead on their endless walk through their cursed lives?
We won't.
You will if you underestimate what's happening here.
As it pains me to say it,
I'm not saying we can't take action. What I'm saying is maybe a little warning next time and at least say something to us. I may be able to inform you.
Agreed.
I didn't want to deliberate. They were steps away from my friends. So
Clara,
now they weren't.
I understand what you're saying, but the second you begin to insult the person you're trying to teach, you lose all credibility.
I'm not trying to teach him anything. It's not my responsibility.
Well, then I guess we're done here.
Yes. And as a point, she kind of leans over and she points off into the forest. As you all look, do you see what is there in the trees? Do you see what dwells in these trees? And after just a moment of your eyes kind of like adjusting, you see about maybe 50 to 75 feet out. Off in the hanging from the branches, you see wings outstretching, stretching in the darkness and the canopy of the forest.
Yes.
There are legitimate dangers, and we can focus on those. Some things, like what we saw, the restless dead, those who refuse to move on, don't pose a direct physical danger to us. We just need to identify and pick our battles. Yes?
Yes.
agreed.
We can rest here for the moment. Let's regather ourselves. The fell bats don't tend to unhinge themselves during broad daylight. We'll find shelter at night. I know an abandoned old cabin on this road that we'll stay in. We'll hide the horses.
Good.
We evade them at night.
I need a goddamn nap.
During the day, safe enough. There's no harm, realistically, but doing something like that at night, forcing us out under the moonlight where the fell bats and other foul creatures come to hunt, we don't want to be doing that in these woods.
That prayer of light I cast, I can center it on a single object. We can travel at night under the light of the sun if we need to.
And that will drive off some of the lesser creatures. Maybe keep them at bay for a time. But eventually they will figure out that it's false daylight.
I can create real daylight too.
Nothing you do will ever be as real as the daylight and the light that is generated by Parathor.
And if I prove you wrong?
You can't. There's no wrong.
I'm gonna lean over. I know you want to prove it wrong. Trust me, I do too. But can we save it for when shit really goes wrong? Because
Oh no, I don't need to prove her wrong. Parathor is the god of mankind. I just don't see very much mankind sitting around right now.
There's a bunch back in the town. I know they were trying to
Let's
get my
continue
head.
riding until nightfall.
Either way, I would ask that next time we get into combat, if it's night, please provide light. I don't see too well in the darkness.
I can add that to the curriculum.
The what?
The things to do when fight starts.
Thank you. Oh, shit!
So, as you gather yourselves together and you continue riding down the road,
My javelin of lightning!
you
Left in the woods.
No!
some commoners gonna be real lucky.
Some fucking
You
trappers
just made
out
that
there are gonna
rich.
be
Watch this with me.
pretty stoked.
Yeah.
Having a great
Oh.
day.
Oh, I removed it from my character sheet. It's gone now.
Oh, painful.
Not unless I just like.
So,
Meanwhile, I had the locate object spell memorized, ready to go.
as you ride through the day,
Sorry, I killed the girl. We had to
you
leave.
come across multiple abandoned outposts and forts, all more or less in similar states of decay, abandonment, and on several occasions you have to dispatch some skeletons and newly risen undead who have wandered through the road, becoming increasingly more common the further and further Clara says you're getting closer to where you need to get. Until finally, it becomes all too clear that as the sun's setting on the woods, you're going to be riding this road at night to reach your final destination.
Well, it looks like we
Until
have
next Friday.
Oh, motherfucker.
We're supposed to be at a Motel 6 by the time midnight hit. Can we just pull this?